Hello, I am Dr. PPP. I am the Celebrity Guru, award winning author of the book You Are the Celebrity. I am the marathon man who ran not one, not two, not three, not four, not five, not six, not seven, not eight, but nine marathons in my lifetime by God's grace and your blessings. First two marathon in 1 week, sixth and seventh marathon in 1 week by God's grace and your blessings. I am the Himalayas Guru who's climbing the Everest of the Himalayas by God's grace and your blessings. If the celebrity Guru can write, so can you. If the marathon man can run, so can you. If the Himalayas Guru can climb, so can you. Life is the movie, you are the celebrity. Life is a celebration, you are the celebrity. Life is the marathon, you are the marathoner. Life is the book, you are the author. Life is the mountain, you are the mountaineer. I am the number one international bestseller and the magnetic entrepreneur, award winning author of the book Magnetic Entrepreneur, a personality that attracts. I am the Guinness World Records number one international bestseller of the book Magnetic Entrepreneur, world renowned. I served the Canadian Army as an engineer by God's grace and your blessings. I'm showing this award and reward not to impress you but to impress upon you. If the small boy who born in the beautiful country called Mother India's beautiful province called Gujarat, which gave Mahatma Gandhi and lots of other celebrities to the world, that Gujarat small village, Julas, and which gave NASA astronaut Sunita Williams. That boy went to the medical college to fulfill his father's dream and invested double the time rather than the regular medical student time because that boy was living his father's dream. That boy suffered inferiority complex because of English as well as homesickness. So that boy became the final year dropout after 8 years putting up his life. Then he went to North America to fulfill his childhood dream. Went to Canada. Half of his life he lived in the English-speaking country, Canada. Same boy writes not one, not two, not three, not four, not five, but six books in English. If that boy become the celebrity guru, so can you. I am honored, privileged, humbled, blessed, and super excited to introduce you all the way from Louisiana, USA. Evie Shaw. Evie is the award-winning author. Evie is the teacher. Evie is the speaker. Evie is the Bob Proctor consultant. Bob Proctor, who is the grandfather of self-help industry. Bob Proctor, who is the secret movie celebrity. Yes, so without further ado, with your lots of hearts, wow, like and sharing, help me welcome none other than Evie Shaw from all the way from Louisiana, USA. Hello, Evie, how are you?
Hey, hello, hello. So happy to be here.
Awesome. So happy to be here with you as well as with my celebrity too. Awesome. So introduce yourself here, Evie. Who is this Evie Shaw?
Oh, wow. So I am a public school teacher by degree. I'm not currently teaching. I am a Bob Proctor consultant, and I met and came to know who Bob Proctor was only in February. And since meeting him and becoming a consultant, my life has absolutely catapulted into a whole new realm. And so it's super exciting. And yeah, so then I want to share my journey with other people.
Amazing. Wow, wow. Sure. What's your journey?
Well, so I wrote a chapter in the book, as you mentioned, that did become an international bestseller. And in my chapter, it's called The Magic of Gratitude. And I tell my story about when my husband left, when we had three sons. We had been married 22 years. And so it actually starts before that. when I was a little girl, about 8 years old, I remember lying in my bed going and thinking, how do you get a daddy to stay? I guess that little girl was dreaming of fairy tales and happily ever after. And so it kind of set me on a path to kind of search what does it take to make one mom, one dad live happily ever after and, you know, have wonderful children. And so I studied that, and that's what I wanted to happen. And then one day I came home and my husband had left. And so that began a whole different path. I don't know how much you want me to tell all at one time, but do you want me to keep going?
Yep, keep going, please, tell, because
Okay.
your story is going to change people's lives, already changed people's lives, and keep changing. So you never know whom your story in this show is going to touch how many hearts, body, mind, soul. So please
Right.
feel free.
Okay.
Say
And the reason I do love to tell my story, it's a heartbreaking story, but it's transformational. But I laid in my floor for 18 months after my husband left. And I remember thinking, if I ever get out of here, I want to help somebody else. And I want to tell them it's going to be okay, because I didn't have anybody to tell me that, or I didn't know anybody. And so anyway, so he left, and all I could think is, I want this marriage to work. I want my sons to have their dad. And so it was a couple months after he had been gone, and I found a book. No, I found a book. I went into my cave, and this book almost like just called me over, and it was like, read this chapter. And so I opened it up, and it was about a lady who had a husband who was an alcoholic, and he had been put in jail for I don't know what. And so she divorced him, and he moved on. But in the midst of all that, she became thankful and grateful. So I say she got the gratitude message. And when she did that, her husband, wherever he was, he changed and came back, and they remarried and lived happily ever after. And so when I read that, I'm like, uh-oh, does this mean I need to be thankful for my husband living somewhere else with someone else? And I was like, ew, that's kind of rough right there, right? Because it wasn't like, I don't want to be thankful for that. And so anyway, so I kind of put it aside, and I can't say I didn't think about it. I remember asking a friend of mine, talking to him about it. He was a pastor, and anyway, so we chatted about it. But 5 days later, I was at our homeschool group. We homeschooled, and we had a group that we attended for 10 years, one day a week. And there was a lady there, and she's never been there before, and she never came back after. But the day she was there, she brought a book, and she told the whole group, she said, this book changed our whole family's lives. So many people in our family, and I love books. And so she gave me the book. And so I went home that night and I read it. And would you believe, the topic and the whole thread through the whole book was give thanks in everything. And so then I thought, that is where we're going with this. And so that author had, I don't know, 10 or 20 other books. And so before I even finished that one, which I finished it that night, I had already gotten online and ordered 7 or so more books. So within 2 weeks, I had read 7 of his books, and every book, every one of them was be thankful for everything. And so I was like, oh, and something that he pointed out was, sometimes we have to be thankful for things we don't like. And I thought, ugh. And so his messages were so powerful, and his stories were so amazing. And there were 2 books that were on testimonials only of how people's lives had been changed by this theory, this gratitude message. And so because of what I had read and what I had learned reading the books, I thought, I know I have to try this. And so I began to give thanks for especially the things I didn't like. And I remember starting it. And so on the weekends, we didn't see. So my ex-husband, he did come home. He would come home during the week. We homeschooled. He came home to eat lunch because he worked nearby and he came home. So he did come home, but on the weekends we didn't see him, and it just hurts so bad. I mean, I don't even know how many hours I cried over him not being there on the weekends. So anyway, I remember thinking, okay, this is something I really don't like, and so if we have to be thankful for things we really don't like, this is it. So that's how I got started. And I remember I was in the bathroom one weekend night, and I was so mad and so hurt, and I'm like, I have to be thankful. And so I was like, I'm so thankful. And I wasn't, but I formed the words. I got the sentence out. I'm so thankful that he's not here, because if he was supposed to be, he would. So I didn't understand it, but I had faith in what I had read that this could work. And I had no idea the journey that it would take me on. And so I began to be thankful, and it wasn't easy, and it wasn't with a grateful heart at first, but the more I did it, I kind of sank back in faith, in peace, in calm, and it changed my life. It changed my world.
Wow.
Yeah. So it was powerful. It was powerful.
Yes. And I feel like, it's not easy, like 22 years of marriage life, and one day, like out of blue, like, you are by yourself with your three beautiful kids. And yeah, my marriage also, like, 21 years of marriage. And then, yeah, my wife kicked me out. It was my total mistake. And yeah, we live about like 5 minutes close to each other. And my son is also a beautiful son, 17, living with my wife. So mm, I I I connect with you, but like, I'm single mom with three kids. Again, like, I couldn't imagine. Hats up,
Right.
hats up to you. So
Yeah.
how's your relationship with your husband now?
Oh, it's so good. It's so amazing. I can finish up. I left out a big part of the story. So about a year passed, and as I began to be thankful, and it really began to be okay, and I wasn't clenching my teeth, and I wasn't angry about it. I came to a faith and a peace of, if this is supposed to work out, it will. And I became more loving and more kind. And I knew I wanted my kids to have their dad. And so when he came in for lunch, I wanted to make sure he felt love and peace and not bitterness and anger
Mm-hmm.
in the midst of the situation, and him going somewhere else every night with someone else. And so I just began to have faith. And I knew that my love and kindness would draw him home, but my anger and bitterness would never. So I knew if there was a chance of us to work out, I needed to be loving and kind. And I was able to do that. And so a year passed, and I went back into my cave, where it's my library, my study, whatever. And so I went back, and there was a book on the floor, and I hadn't put it there, and I don't know why it was there. And so I picked it up, and I knew I needed to read it. And so I opened up, it fell open, and it told a story. Now, this isn't the first book that I got off my shelf, and it's not the second book that was put in my hands. This is a completely different book. But it told the story, where it opened up, about a woman who had a husband. He was an alcoholic. He got put in jail. They divorced. He moved off. And she got a hold of the thankful message. She began to be thankful. And he came back. They remarried and lived happily ever after. Now, it's the same people as in the first book, but it's different authors, but it's the same person, the same people.
Mm-hmm.
But it went on to say, the second book, it went on to say, The thing that happened when she began to be thankful is she saw herself. And when I began to be thankful, I began to see myself, and I knew why he left. I mean, there's a lot of factors and everything, but I saw my wrong in it. I saw my wrong, and it changed me. And so I thought that was so amazing, because I just see it like bookends. It kind of encompassed the whole story, the beginning with that same story and the end. But the end result, when I could see it a year later, was that she had changed and I had changed. So that's that. Now, we did end up divorced, and but it was very, very peaceful. He's very kind. He's been very good to me always. And now you ask about our present relationship. It is so, so pleasant. It's so good, but it never was that. I mean, from that time, from the gratitude time until now, it's just been very pleasant and very enjoyable. I knew my kids, I wanted that for my kids. I wanted them to be able to be in the room with us and it not be an angry undercurrent. I know what that feels like, and that's no fun. It wasn't fun for me. And I wanted different for my kids, and I wanted my kids to love their dad. And I didn't want to make them try to form their opinion of him and let them they figured it out on their own. But everything ended up well. I have no regrets that I did that at all. I'm very thankful that I was able to change, because it took a lot of changing, because I was, I don't know how old I was, 42, 43 at the time or something. And so I was ingrained of, a lot of years of who I was. And so anyway, it really, really, really changed me. And it made me a better mom, and it made me a better friend, and it made me a better person and a better wife and ex-wife. And so it's just all good. Now, do you have a question for me? I don't want to just keep going.
Keep going, please.
So, in the book, in the chapter called The Magic of Gratitude, at the end, I write that because it was tragic, it was traumatic for me. It was a very hurtful, very heartbreaking, very excruciating. And I think you can get that feel from reading the chapter. But at the end, I wrote, the events in this chapter pale in comparison to what I went through after. And there was a much greater tragedy to follow than that. But what I learned in that helped me to cope with the loss of my son, my third son. So, yeah, in 2018, April 2018, I lost my third son to cancer. So, yeah. So, and there's nothing to make that easy for a parent. I don't want anybody to hear me say that at all. It's devastating. It's excruciating. It's, some people say the worst thing a parent could go through, of course. But what I learned in that journey before, and the heartache and the trauma, was just how to see things differently. And Wayne Dyer has a quote, when you change the way you look at things, the things you look at change. And it's true. It's so true. And another thing that I like to say, and that goes along with that, is whatever you're looking for, you'll find. Mm-hmm. And so I looked for peace and joy and happiness and love and kindness, and that's what I've gotten back. Now, I could have looked for the bad, but I didn't. And that's with my ex-husband. So with my son, I'm just believing there was a reason. I don't know it. Doesn't mean I like it, but what can I do? Here I am. So when I met Bob Proctor, when I was at a conference, and he said this, and it fit with what I was feeling, but he says, for every bad, there's a good. And for every really bad, there's a really good. And for every awful tragedy, there's an equal and opposite glorious, amazing thing to come from it. And so that's just where I'm hanging out. Colson, my son, he lived a grand life. He passed away at 17, but he never quit anything. He never gave up. He never complained. He was a fighter. He had a black belt in karate, and he was an overcomer. And so every day that gives me courage to go on. When I'm on my treadmill back there and I want to get off, I'm thinking, but Colson ran track, and he wasn't a fast runner, and he wasn't even really a runner at all, but the brothers ran track, our homeschool friends ran track, and so he ran track. And it was probably really hard for him. He had rods in his spine, but he didn't complain, and he didn't stop. And even when he knew he was going to be the last one in that race, he still did it. He still went. He didn't say, Mom, I can't. He never said it. Maybe he should have, but he didn't. He didn't have it in him. So something else that's really, really powerful that I got a hold of after Colson left is I was reading a book by a man, and I don't know his name, but he had lost 2 children and a wife at different times. And he said in there, he said, you know how people always say they went too soon. We didn't have enough years with them. They were too young. Well, I agree with all that with Colson. He was too young. I didn't have enough time with him. But the guy said this. He went on to say, what if we had the exact right number of days with them? What if they went at the exact time they were supposed to? And when I read it, it was very soon after I lost Colson. I thought, you know what? I'm going to hop on that train because I want to see it like that. I want to see it as I had the very right number of days with Colson and the right number of years, even though it didn't seem like it to me. But they were good years, and they were full of everything we could cram into 17 years. And so those are some of the things that have helped me get through that.
Wow. You are the tigress and keep roaring. Wow. Amazing. Like, yeah, your son Paulson is the angel, and always with you, definitely. And he's proud of you, and it is said, like, nice people also, God needs nice people too. Jesus needs nice people too with him too. So sometimes, take nice people early, according to us looks early, but it's like right time according to him, right? And
Right.
so now with your story, how are you going to helping the world, people of the world?
Well, so I'm hoping, and I want to walk with people who are in a position to say, I'm hurting and I need help, and I need somebody to tell me there's a way out. So either losing a child or husband having an affair. Oh no! Oh my goodness! I'm so sorry. Oh my goodness. So I want to be that hope. I want to tell people there's hope, there's light at the end of the tunnel. You can't see it now. It's pure darkness. It's pure darkness, but it is okay. It will be okay. And if you look for the good, you'll find it. And I want to just really impress that on people. And with the Bob Proctor program, the program that I'll offer, and that is through the Proctor Gallagher Institute, is powerful. I mean, it literally, like for me, in 6 months, my life has completely catapulted to a new level. And anybody who decides to go through the program and implement it, no doubt that their life will radically change and catapult to a whole new level. And so I'm excited to have that to offer to people who really, really, really want to make a change. It's quite an investment, but it is an investment that will pay huge dividends. It's almost like putting your money in the stock market and the stock market just jacking up and paying you huge, huge amounts of money. That's what this program is like. And so I have that to walk through with people. And then I have a master's in counseling and a degree in psychology. And so just that alone, I can walk with people and encourage them and help them to look at things a different way.
Wow, amazing. Absolutely, absolutely. I highly encourage my celebrity, to get your program, and you are the Bob Proctor certified coach and life coach and teacher and author. So definitely, and also you have the psychological degree too. So that's amazing, amazing. So how can my celebrity find you, connect you to get what you want to offer?
Okay. So I have a website, www.liveyourdreamevie.com. Yep. So
Wow.
it's all one word, liveyourdreamevie.com. Yep.
Wow, amazing, awesome. Also, you wrote the book with Ellen White and Cindy, amazing people. Yeah, and they are also in my circle too, and published by Robert J. Moore, the publisher of my last 5 books. Yes.
Right.
So how that journey started, and yeah, what's your message? The people who never wrote the book, and they have book within. What's the message for them?
Oh, I think everybody has a story in them. And one thing I've been saying for many, many, many years is my hurts can heal someone else's pain, but everybody's hurt can heal someone else's pain. But here's the key: you have to tell your story.
Yes.
And if I didn't tell my story today, I would be sitting here in Louisiana and nobody would know. Nobody would know. And so, yeah, we all have a story inside and we have to tell it and share ourselves with the world.
Absolutely, amen. So, what's your book? What's the title of your book, and how my celebrity can buy your book?
Okay, so the book that with Alan and Cindy is called Awakened, and it's on Amazon, and so it can be purchased that way. Now, if someone wants to contact me personally, I can be found on my website, but I also have an email that's the same name, liveyourdreamevie@gmail.com. They could email me and I could send them just my chapter. So for anybody who's listening today and just wants my chapter, they can email me if they want the whole book, which is an amazing book because it's called From Tragedy to Triumph. And so there's lots of good stories in there of overcoming, and there may be a story in there that would touch somebody in a different way than mine does. So that's the two ways they could get a hold of that.
Oh wow, that's nice for giving the link for that, as well as somebody connect you, you can give your free chapter. That's amazing, and definitely I highly encourage Robert J. Moore's all books are amazing. I highly encourage to go with Awakening for sure. Why not? And if you want personal touch, and only personal Evie chapter, connect with Evie, liveyourdreamevie.com, or the website, email address is also liveyourdreamevie@gmail.com. Amazing. There is a gentleman from Pakistan who is having this channel learning English by speaking English. He said, "Hello, Hamid." Yeah. Also, he's running a channel with his daughter, 8 years young daughter, Aima, and Habib Hussein. Yeah. So he said 9 marathons. That's wonderful. Thank you. Life is a marathon. You are the marathon. Life is a book. You are the author. Thank you. Okay, great personality invited for the show. Absolutely, yes. My today's guest is amazing, great personality for sure. Evie Show from Louisiana, USA. Life is a challenge, and you are the challenge factor. Yeah, absolutely, you made your both cut very good, amazing. Habibai, great job, awesome. Great decision, better for kids and yourself. Amen. 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 A positive mom made a son, a fighter, and overcomer. Absolutely. Bang on. You're the tigress, so keep roaring. Amazing. Yes. If you look for the good, you will find it. Amen. Amen.
That's true.
A great woman and a wonderful teacher.
Thank
Wow. Wow. Thank you. Everyone has a story. It's required to be told so that it inspires the people around us. Absolutely. Absolutely. Wow. Now let's
Can
go forward.
can
Yeah.
so when my son left that year, I was able to travel quite a bit to heal. And everywhere I went, 4 different countries and coast to coast. So from California up to Toronto, I drove both
Hmm.
ways. But everywhere I went, I saw a yellow butterfly in my path, and a yellow butterfly just flew by.
Ah.
So I see one every day. Every day now, I go out in my backyard and I see a yellow butterfly, and one just flew by just now. So that's precious. So I don't know if people believe in signs or see signs or what, but for me, it is amazing how many I see. And I actually am going, when I talk to Robert, I'm going to talk to him about writing a book about loved ones who send signs, because everybody loves to talk about their loved ones that they lost and keep their memory alive. And so I'm excited about that. I have tons of stories. I get coins, pennies from heaven, and I get yellow butterflies and the number 44. His basketball number was 44, and I see it everywhere. I have hundreds and hundreds of pictures on my phone of everything I'm telling you, except the butterflies. They're harder to catch. um, but yeah,
Wow.
so I want to write a book about that. And one more thing. So
Mhm.
from the time Colson was born, I knew I was supposed to write a book about him and his life. And I always, every time I got ready to write it, it was like, you don't know the end of the story. I would just hear, you don't know the end of the story. And so I'd be like, okay, he's 7. I'm ready to write it. And be like, you don't know the end of the story. And again, at 13, and like, you don't know the end of the story. And so I was standing at his service, and I'm thinking, I don't know the end of the story. I really don't know the end of the story. And, but I knew there was a story because he lived such an amazing life. His service is on YouTube. It is amazing. I mean, it's just incredible. And so he loves superheroes, loves superheroes. His room is all decked out in superhero everything. And so everybody wore their superhero shirt or whatever they had. So it was really neat. But some people, they said Colson was the real superhero, and they had a shirt made with his picture that says Colson is the real superhero. And so anyway, I say all that to say, I know his story will be a book. And since actually people came through the line and said it needs to be a movie. And so when Bob Proctor said, for every tragedy, there's just this amazing equal and opposite side. And so I just believe that that's going to be the big deal, the great part that comes from it, and inspire a lot of people. So
Wow, wow. Coulson is a superhero, and so are you. You are the superhero too,
thank you.
Wow, wow. And I can't wait to watch Coulson movies too, Yeah, absolutely. It's coming. It's
Yes,
coming. Wow.
it's coming.
Okay, from those moments, let's go to the rapid fire round. I'm going to ask some questions, and you're going to answer right away without thinking, whatever comes to your heart. Sounds good?
Okay. Yeah, I like that. We used to play that game at my house.
Who's your favorite hero?
Colson.
I knew that. What's your favorite book?
Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. I love books. I don't even know. Oh my gosh. Oh my goodness. I know I'm not supposed to think, but I can't even. Wow. I love books. I'm reading about 10 right now. My favorite book. I can go with the Bible, but that's kind of like a pat answer. But
That's
we'll go with
beautiful.
that. We'll go with
Okay.
that.
That's the, yeah, everybody needed. It doesn't matter if you're Christian or non-Christian. Yeah, the most book read and number one book sold in the whole world.
Right.
Absolutely.
Right.
Okay, what's your favorite movie, Evie?
The Notebook. The Notebook.
The Notebook. Yes, yes. Okay. Wow. What's your favorite memory of your life?
Oh, with my kids. Any memory of my three sons. We had a wonderful, fun life together.
What's
So,
the big? Okay, amazing. Thank you. What's the biggest regret of your life?
wow. I want to say I don't have one because every single thing that's happened has turned out for a greater good.
Wow. What's the biggest thank you moment of your life, Evie?
The biggest thank you moment?
Mhm.
What do you mean by that? Clarify. Big.
Like you have lots of moment, you said thank you to that moment, thank you to this moment, but the biggest one, thank you moment of your life.
Thank you for the amazing, wonderful kids that I have. Like they're just amazing. The fact that I know them and they're mine, I mean, they're just amazing people. So I'm thankful for my sons. Wish I
Wow.
had about 6 more of them.
Yes. Let me give you the scenario. You've been to Toronto, right? During your tour. In Toronto, used to be the CN Tower, the tallest tower. Now it's the second tallest tower in the world. So you are going through the elevator to top of the CN Tower. One good news happened, one bad news happened. Bad news is the elevator got stopped in the middle. And the good news is you can bring one person with you, dead or alive. So who would be that person and why you're going to choose that person?
Oh my goodness. So of course I have to bring Colson, right? Because I'd love to spend more time with him.
Yeah.
Yeah, that would have to be it.
Yeah.
It would be hard to let him go again, though.
And that's perfect fine. That's perfectly fine. God gives 24 hours to Colson to come back at 70 years young, your beautiful third son. How would you spend that 24 hours with Colson? How?
Wow. I would tell him how amazing he is and how he was an overcomer. And while he was in the midst of me, even though I knew it, like I didn't know how grand it was and how amazing he was. It was just who he was. And I would just reiterate to him how amazing he was. And he was a fighter and he didn't quit. And we would spend time with the brothers and we would laugh so much. We just laugh.
Wow.
And he probably want to see his friends. So I have to have the friends over. So
Wow. Now we are towards the end of our show, and I know in like less than 40 minutes it's tough to tell a whole your story, but again, thank you so much for sharing your vulnerability, sharing your losing of loved ones, and sharing your story about 22 years of marriage, and then ups and downs, and how still you thank you to the gentleman of three beautiful sons, and how like 5 nights, 5 days you saw in a week, like week after week after week. Wow. So is there anything else would you love to share before we can towards the end of our show? We can go towards the end of our show.
okay. So I want to encourage people that there is always light at the end of the tunnel, no matter how dark. You got to look for the light. And again, whatever you look for, you find. And when you change the way you look at things, the things you look at change. What if the situation you're in right now that looks so bad really, really is a great thing. And there's a gift in every problem. Look for the gift.
Wow, 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 wow. Amazing. Thank you so much, Evie Shaw, for sharing your heart, body, mind, and soul, and your now vision and mission and passion and purpose. And you love what you do. Really appreciate that, Evie Shaw.
Thank you. Thanks for having me. I've enjoyed chatting with you.
I'm humbled, honored, blessed, and super excited to have you with me and my also celebrities who are watching you from all over the world and who are going to watch the replays. They're also, humble and blessed for having you.
Yes.
So my celebrity, if you are watching live, write down hashtag live. If you are watching the replay, write down hashtag replays and lots of hearts. Wow, like and share it because you are caring. And when you share, write down hashtag shared. Believe in your wildest dreams. Don't let anybody steal your dreams. Just do it now. If Trump can win, 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 so can you. You're the celebrity day. You're the celebrity life. You are the celebrity.
Thank you.